had my second hip surgery, so they were 6 weeks apart, and just coming back from Tokyo, coming out of the Paralympics, I had quite a few injuries. I thought I might actually have to give up the sport, but I've had a lot of support from British Rowing, and they've got me through these 2 surgeries, back in a boat rowing, which has been amazing this season, hopefully onwards to trials next year.
Great. Well, glad to hear that you're recovering from those surgeries, and that we'll hopefully see you racing at the Paralympic Games next year. But this event is a new addition to the Paralympic program, isn't it? The PR3 mixed double sculls.
Yeah, it is. It's very exciting actually, because the para team in GB, we're quite a small group of athletes, and to have an extra boat class brought into the Games next year has meant that we've got 2 more people in the team, and it just brings a better dynamic, I think.
And we can see a couple of your teammates racing in this race. In Heat 1, we will have France in lane 1, Israel in lane 2, Ukraine in lane 3, Great Britain in lane 4, Italy in lane 5, and India in lane 6, closest to us on the screen. So in this boat for Great Britain, 2 of your teammates, Annabelle Caddick and Samuel Murray, how are they going?
They're doing very well, yeah. They've definitely picked up speed in the last work camp and the taper camp. I think they're doing very well. It's a new combination. Sam Murray was part of the Paralympic squad a few years ago, up until Rio. He then left, and he came back this season because the double's now able to go to the Paralympics. So Annie was here last year, and then her and Sam are together now. So it's been quite cool to see them developing speed and developing their own dynamic.
And they've had some good performances. They got a 4th at World Cup 2 in this event, and also a bronze medal at the European Championships. So
yeah,
sort of on the cusp of the podium, hopefully here at the World Championships.
That's the hope, yeah. And I think in this category there's only 5 classification spots for the Paris Games, so it's going to be really tight racing.
Yeah, wow, tough in those events where there's only 5. It's some of the events, you know, that if you make the A final, you've got that Paralympic or Olympic position sealed. But some of the events, of course, like the 8s as well, you pretty much don't want to be last in the final is the aim of the game.
Yeah, you're fighting every race, I think.
Absolutely. So we're here on the start line now, awaiting the first race start of the day. The PR3 mixed double sculls, and we're away. And that was a really quick start there from Ukraine in lane 3. Ukraine is Stanislav Samolyuk and Daria Kotyk. They won a bronze in the PR3 mixed double at the World Championships last year, and they came 9th at the Paralympic Games in the PR3 mixed 4. So as you've sort of said, the opportunity to have those athletes racing in the PR3 out of the 4s and into the double now.
Yeah, so this boat class, you have to have a higher classification level than in the 4. So you have to have 20 points on one limb. And in terms of, you can have 1 VI in the boat as well. So I have a visual impairment, and I'm now classified to be able to go into the double. You need to be B2, whereas in the 4 you can be B3. So it just means that some of the boats that are in the people who are in the 4 are now able to race in this doubles event and potentially medal, where they might not have medalled as much in the 4.
So we can see it's a very tight race there between the 4 leading boats at this stage.
Yeah, I think in this race you have to come top 1 to get through to then the next round. So I think a lot of people are going to be trying to get that top spot.
Yeah, so everything to race for, and you bang on first to A final, the remaining crews to the repechage. We have France up the top of the screen, Israel in lane 2. The leading boat, just by an ever so slight margin, is the Ukraine, just over Great Britain here.
I think Ukraine got a silver medal at the Europeans just ahead of the GB crew, but we'll get to see how they're getting on in this one.
So they're coming up to the 500-metre marker now, and confirmation coming through that mark. It was Ukraine 0.98 of a second ahead of Great Britain, Israel in 3rd, France in 4th. Actually locked together, Israel and France. So very tight race here as they're entering the second 500 metres of the race.
This is usually the part of the race where you've got through your start, the adrenaline's kind of worn off a little bit and you're settling down onto your rhythm transition phase. This is the point where I'm kind of like thinking, oh, why do I row? Why do I do this to myself? But then I think once you get to the K marker, you know that you're in the final stretch. So this is the bit where you have to grit your teeth and hold on.
And in terms of the race profile of some of these crews, how, I guess in terms of the British team, you've obviously got the British crew in here competing Is there sort of a blueprint that the team, and maybe I'm asking you to give away team secrets here, but is there a blueprint that the team is sort of looking to achieve in terms of the race profile? Is there an area that they're really focusing on? Like, will we expect to see the British team or the British combination here be looking to make a move in the third quarter, or how do you think they'll attack this race?
I think that is kind of top secret information that you're wanting from me. I'd say in the falls event, or in most of the rowing boats I've been in, you go hard at the start, you try and hold yourself in the middle, and then you go as fast as you can at the finish. In our pair at the moment, we've been going for a Romanian-style finish, where we up the rate as high as we can and pull hard. But I'm not sure whether the double will be going for that or not.
So the two crews here leading at the moment, pushing away into the centre of the field. It is Ukraine with an ever so narrow margin over the British combination as they're coming through the 1,000-metre marker. The Ukrainian crew up on 34 strokes per minute. The British crew only one pip lower at 34 strokes per minute, so 0.45. So in fact, the British have closed that margin from the first 500-metre mark. Wow, big push coming through here from the French at the top of the screen. The French, Alberti is 46 years of age, Laurent Cadeau, 40 years of age. This combination won the gold medal at the 2022 World Rowing Championships in this event. So they are the world champions, currently being led out by the Ukraine and Britain.
That's looking very good then for these two boats, isn't it? And then the French won the European Championships, I believe, ahead of the British. So the fact that the British are ahead now is looking good.
Yes, I think that was Laurent Cadeau who won the gold in the European Championships in the mixed double. And actually, Cadeau doubled up in the mixed four last year at the World Championships as well. So he got a bronze and a silver at the World Championships. But they're starting to make a move here. It looks like the French have had a big push in that third quarter, but the British have taken the lead now. They're about 3 metres ahead of the Ukrainians, so a really, really measured race that they put in that third quarter to now pop their bow ball into the lead. But the French are going to start to challenge the world champions. I'm sure we'll have something to say in this last quarter of the race as we are approaching the 1,500-metre mark now.
Yeah, I think Annie, whenever I speak to her, she always talks about wanting to have a longer race, so she'd like it if we raced over 5K. She definitely prefers the longer races, so that's why she's able to hold it, I think, at this point.
Well, this is going to be interesting because, in fact, with a little bit of a tail breeze sort of following conditions, it's going to be a shorter race, so Annie's going to have to really dig in this last 500 metres to hold off these crews because it looks like the French are on the charge to me. The Ukrainians not able to continue to sustain that pressure. The British have moved through and now the French are coming, the world champions are coming. And the standard of this event has really come on in the last couple of years, hasn't it? We've seen the Australians broke their own world best time at the World Cup in Varese, so set the world best time in the heat and then broke it again in the final. We'll see them in the next race along with the Americans. And we've got the French, the world champions in this race, and now the British leading here, but it looks like the French are coming.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this Australian-US race in the next one because we actually got to race the US double in an event in the PR3 pair. We have a staggered start, of course, because they are a bit quicker than us. And it was very exciting to see them, and I'd like to see the two quick boats in the next race go ahead.
So the British down on 34 strokes per minute, looking really measured. The French up at 37. They're sprinting desperately, trying to get there. It's less than 250 metres now to the finish. Ellen looks like she's got a huge smile on her face here. The world champions are coming. Can your teammates, can Annabelle and Samuel hold off the French who are making their charge as they're coming down towards the last 150 metres or so?
Oh, and we can start to see them now out of the window, and I can hear the cheers of the team screaming at them. I know that Charlotte in the pair, she said she was going to scream at Annie at this point, that Annie had to hold on and just keep going as hard as she could.
Well, the British are on 33 strokes per minute, so they're still very measured, but the French are up at 40, so the French are sprinting. They want to take this win. They're about to come past us here in front. It looks like they're locked together, bow ball for bow ball. Oh, and perhaps the French just taken the lead by a canvas. And it will be France. Wow, that all came down to the line, but what a turnaround for the British. This crew has just improved throughout the season. They're getting better and better with each race, but the world champions' gutsy performance in that second 1,000 to really have to dig deep to get themselves into the lead.
That was a very impressive finish as well, rating at 40 in the tailwind. Able to get it up there and get past the British.
And it looks as though that might be a world best time. It is 7:33.92, unofficial world best time. The